Hey, One Piece fans, welcome back to an exciting new episode of One Piece, episode recap and review 1137. Now, this one is a bit different because of the way that it has been presented. We were treated to a really good exposition about Kuma's backstory and even some of Jewelry Bonney's backstory. But this time, we are now back in the present, and Eiichiro Oda and the team at Toei Animation decided to try something a little bit more different. Usually we get a musical introduction, but with this one, we just jump right off into it. We see that this is a recap of everything that happened in the last episode. Kuma getting ready to be transformed into a cyborg. We see right here this big giant bear bubble that has all of his memories off in there. And we know exactly what happened with those memories. You see the dispersion right there. We know that Bonney was able to go ahead and view those memories. And we're now back just a few days before the actual present events. Jewelry Bonney has met up with Dr. Vegapunk, and she's coming out of that room after she's seen everything within that bubble. Dr. Vegapunk is sitting there asking her if she saw everything. She starts shrinking back in size. And we all know that Jewelry Bonney is actually a 12-year-old little girl. So she's been going through a whole lot to get to this point right here. And she just walks up and gives Dr. Vegapunk a hug. She apologizes to him, although there's no reason for her to apologize to him. And so now we've officially come to the title page. Episode 1137, I'm Sorry, Dad. Bonney's Tears and Kuma's Fist. And this is a very impactful episode here. We're going to see everything right here, once again, takes place before the events of the present day. Dr. Vegapunk is basically filling in Bonney of everything that has happened up until that point. This is the birthday present that Kuma had left for her. And obviously she's going to go ahead and treasure that for the rest of her life. And so now we are back at the present day. And right here we see an emaciated Luffy who can't move. He wants to eat something. I mean, that's kind of funny right there. He's like a shriveled up old man because he used up all of his power fighting against the very competent and capable Kizaru. Saturn is actually telling her, you should get ready to go meet your father in the afterlife. Because at this point, Saturn thinks that Kuma is dead, but we all know that Kuma is not dead. And we'll get to that towards the end of this video about the reason why that is. And so news has been spread far and wide. The new emperor, Luffy, has captured Dr. Vegapunk and taken him hostage. But we all know that's not the case here. But of course, the government controls the news, and the news acts as its propaganda arm. We're now on Ivankov's island. Monkey D. Dragon is asking, where do you think Kuma had gone? Ivankov asks, I would probably go to Marie Joy within a heartbeat. But then instead, no, probably go and meet his daughter. And that's what he says right here. Saturn is holding Bonney still, getting ready to assassinate her. And here's a really strange thing that happened. Bonney is going to try to use her power on Saturn, but is going to realize that it's not going to work. You see that she's using her distortion future. We first saw that way back in the day when she took on Alpha, and she punched Alpha with her distorted future punch. And she says, well, again, the power's not working. And of course, the reason why the power's not working is because Saturn had did something to her. And this is where Saturn is now telling the truth about Bonney's powers, that he had given Bonney those powers when she was a kid. He experimented on her and her mother, and that's why the powers don't work on him. And he calls the age fruit a worthless fruit, because the power of the age fruit, it actually relies upon a person's imagination. The more you are imaginative and you believe in things that aren't true, the more powerful the age fruit is. This is where Saturn lets her know the reason why your power is waning is because you are losing faith in this character Nika. That's why it's not working as strong as you think it is. And then he also tells her that he experimented on Jenny, which, by the way, he tells her right there that Jenny was the 8th wife of someone from the Holy Land. Now, if you guys are not familiar with a running theory, Shamrock Figureland, who happens to also be the brother of twin brother of Shanks, is actually Jewelry Bonney's father. Now, that's only a theory at this point in time. It hasn't been confirmed or anything like that, so take that with a grain of salt. But some of you One Piece fans who are very knowledgeable about what's going on with the One Piece lore, you probably have heard of this as well. So it's probably not telling you anything that you already don't know or anything like that. But for your anime fans, we haven't gotten to this point or anything. But if you want to go down that road, you can obviously go ahead and look up this information. Figureland Shamrock, he happens to be a celestial, which also means that Shamrock, or not Shamrock, but Shanks is also a celestial dragon, if you will. We have Saturn confirming to Bonney that, yeah, you actually are part celestial dragon because your father is actually a celestial dragon. But the point of him bringing all that up was to let her know that he also experimented on her mother, but she kept getting those sapphire scales, so she was considered a failure. And he goes right here, it didn't go well at all, but it was interesting that the side effect was inherited by her child. They're trying to put the age fruit into Jenny, but it didn't work because she kept getting the sapphire scales and she ultimately died from that. But somehow her child, Bonney, was able to inherit that power. And so this really just pisses off Dr. Vegapunk. Dr. Vegapunk says Kuma sacrificed himself to go ahead and save Bonney, but all this time it was you, it was the celestial dragons, it was you, Saint Saturn, that did all of this to this poor family. Bonney just resigns herself to just death. But at the last moment, we see that Bartholomew Kuma has finally made it to Egghead Island. He has remembered what his ultimate goal was, which is to protect his daughter. And that's what he's there to do now. And he's hurrying to her at a really quick pace. Saturn holds her up, tells the Navy to go ahead and shoot her, but they are not able to do it because Kuma was able to stop them with his firepower. Even though he is suffering a barrage of fire from the Navy. And we see that Bonney just lets out this really soul-shattering cry, and Kuma was able to save her. But Saturn's like, wait a minute, why is he still alive? Well, obviously the reason why he's still alive is because there was no self-destruct switch that was inputted into him. And we see that Kuma is getting ready to just deliver the most important punch that he's ever delivered in his life. Let me just go ahead and fast forward right there. And that punch is similar to when Luffy punched the celestial dragon. It's got the exact same artwork, the exact same impact of the punch. Let's look at that punch again. And it looks like it's even with the same hand, the right hand, except Kuma has this with armament hockey, and he just delivers that one punch right to the face of Saint Saturn. Now, of course, you see the eyes of determination from Saturn right there. It looks like he tanked it, but he still got punched backwards. And that's where we actually go ahead and finally start hearing the opening theme song on this episode. So this is a really good way of Eiichiro Oda and Toei Animation to do this particular episode. It had a very different feel to it, and it was a really good welcoming sign to bring us fans right back into the mix of everything. And so the episode ends right there, and we're now looking at the previews of next week's episode. And on the next episode, thank you, Dad, Bonney and Kuma's warm embrace. This was a really good episode to bring us One Piece fans back into the fold. Had a really good summation of everything that happened before, and we were able to see that Kuma and Bonney reunited. We got that nice ode to Luffy punching out that celestial dragon. Overall, I would give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. Really good episode. Really good way to get us back into the mix of things. So what did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys find this a really good episode to watch? Jump down in the comments and let me know what you think. And make sure you guys do like, share, subscribe, turn on those post notifications. All that stuff really helps me out. And remember, this is Chris Bolt signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. You take it easy.